United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor D'Amato?
Here.
Councilman Catalano?
Here.
Councilman Graziano?
Here.
Councilwoman Hudson? Here. Councilman Julin?
Here.
Councilwoman Schubert? Here. Councilman Yasi?
Here. Okay, we also have our municipal clerk, Brianna Smith, business administrator, Michael Sondermeyer, and borough attorney, Dawn Sullivan. This meeting is called to pursuant of the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Adequate notice of this meeting was advertised in the Herald News on January 12, 2022. Copies were provided to the local news media and posted continuously in the municipal building. A copy of this notice is available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. Per state fire code, I'm required to acknowledge that there are 2 emergency exits in this council chambers. The main entrance, which you enter through, a secondary exit to the left of where I am seated. If there is an emergency, walk out orderly to the exits, exit through the door, down the stairs, and out the building. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. Okay. Seeing no one, we do not have any non-agenda items tonight. I'd like the motion to open up early public comment, please.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody wishing to speak on agenda items, please come forward. Seeing no one, motion to close.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Report of committees.
Got one, so Sloan Park Fest, it's coming up on June 10th. It's a Friday, it starts, say, around 5:30ish. The band is going to be the School of Rock. They have many different, groups that come up, so they'll be playing throughout the night. There's many vendors that have signed up. I think there's at least 5 or 6 different food vendors. It's going to be a really good time. Can't miss it. It's going to be right there at Sloan Park. So June 10th, again, starting around 5:30.
And also I'd like to thank our sponsors for the fence sponsors and the stage sponsors. We have quite a few of them this year.
Right.
So that is great. Anyone else?
Just real quick, we're about halfway through the Little League season, which we're already talking about a closing date, which is incredible. Season's going well, knock on wood. Just real quick, Walter T. Bergen, just like to thank the Borough and the Rose Fund for working with our Little League to really enhance that field for the softball players. So if you're over at the walking track, take a look at some of the improvements. There's actually an 8x8 storage shed going up on Thursday, and with the goal of really making that a special place for the softball. So on behalf of Tri-Borough Little League, we'd like to thank the Borough for working with us.
Okay, you're welcome. Anyone else?
Just an FYI, the last weekend in June is the fireworks. Starts at 5 o'clock, and that's Saturday night, and then rain date is Sunday. So we will have rides, the fireworks, food, DJ, so lots of stuff, fun times, and hope everybody gets to come out.
Okay.
Oh, and I do have one other thing. COVID numbers, we did get a very long email from our health officer regarding our COVID numbers. They are up. Again, if anybody needs to be tested, they can go to the State County website for testing and vaccinations, or go see your local pharmacy.
Okay. Actually, a question on that. We've had a few positive cases in Little League. Mm-hmm. And our messaging has been consistent with local and state officials. Mm-hmm. Is that what you were being told? We don't have an official policy. We're mirroring what local officials tell us as far as quarantining, what to do with your child. Obviously, we're not asking for vaccination records. It's none of our business. Is that in line with what you're hearing from the health department?
The only thing that I would double check on that is, which I just read up on it because I just had COVID. So the only thing I would double check on that is school-age children. There might be some different guidelines for school-age children. I would double check CDC guidelines on that, because I do believe that the guidelines were slightly different for school-age children. But right now, it's pretty consistent with 5 days if you get it, and then the 5 days wearing a mask thereafter. And that's 5 days from onset of symptoms. So if your symptoms showed up on, let's say, yesterday, that's actually they're considering that day 0, not day 1. So that's like day 0, then they start counting from there your 5 days.
Okay.
And then it's 5 days thereafter. However, you have to be asymptomatic
Right.
to move to the next with a mask.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we've communicated out.
Yep.
Okay.
But double check the age,
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Mike?
Nothing.
Bree?
Just one thing, I did email everyone, but the county commissioners did approve my request to move the districts around and which locations they'll be in. So just so everyone knows, districts 1 and 2 will be at the SRD school. Districts 3, 4, and 5 at the Fireman's Hall, and we'll use that going forward. We did meet with the chief of police. He's going to help us put a sign out on Union Avenue so everyone knows we are not using the health center, because it's that district that's moving, but also District 5 was always at the SRD school. They'll be at the Fireman's Hall. So we've used social media. Postcards went out in the mail last week to those in those districts, and then we're going to use our signs, so hoping to avoid all confusion. But 1 and 2, SRD school, 3, 4, and 5, Fireman's Hall.
Bree, do you have a, like a paper on that, so that we can actually schedule our social media for like a few days before, so I can?
I have it.
Okay.
I posted it, but then I have notes. I don't have a flyer, but if you want to make a flyer.
Yeah, I've seen it on
Send me
Facebook.
something, and I'll make something up so that I can actually schedule certain days on
Okay.
social media.
Okay.
Okay. Dawn?
Nothing this evening, Mayor.
Okay. The only thing I have is Memorial Day Parade. Lineup will be at Sloan Park. It'll be starting there. Bree put out an agenda that everybody should have seen for lineups for fire, police, VFW on the side streets off of Hamburg Turnpike, but we will be lining up at the park and doing a small memorial there, and then marching to Butler to do their service over there. Okay? Main Street, Hamburg Turnpike, Main Street, yes. All right. Excuse me. The other thing that's going on, I'd like to thank the DPW guys for putting up the veterans banners and all the banners along Hamburg Turnpike and Main Street, and also Glen Waldove up by the park. We've got some compliments about putting it up by the park and decorating it by both, so that's nice. But it's nice to recognize our veterans throughout our main thoroughfare through town, which it looks really nice. I don't know if anybody's been noticing the street sweeping that's been going on in town. Our streets are immaculate all the way through, and if anybody doesn't think they are, they know a place where we missed, we can reach out to us and we can make sure it gets done. But the streets do look terrific, including Main Street. All right?
Can you just make a quick comment on the dog part, just people picking up after their animals? Because there has been a couple comments.
There has been comments, yeah, I've seen that too, the dog park, which I will reach out to the county because they're responsible for taking care of it, but it would be nice, because it's not only used by Bloomingdale residents, it's used by whoever wants to go there, since it is a county dog park. For the most part, I do see a county car up there doing, or truck doing the cleaning of the stuff, but people should be picking up after them, after their pets, and making sure it stays as nice as it is today. So yes, that should be done. And that's wherever in town too, because we have enough stuff around town so people can pick up their dog droppings from wherever.
Hey, John, on
Yep.
those, the veteran pictures, love the concept, love the idea. And since Frank's here, for next year, when we go back to put him back up, maybe we put a red face, a real face, red face, real, like switch them around. So it's not like 10 in a row. When you first enter the town, all you see is the backs, and, it may take you a
So the
couple
reason
of...
we did that is for the side of the street that you're driving on, you'll see the faces on that, it's on that side of the street. So that's how we did it. So coming up this way, if it's
Yeah.
on, if it's whatever side of the street you're driving on, if the flag is on that side of the street, you do it, the face would be facing you.
I got you, yeah, this side or that side,
That's
yeah.
what- that's how we.
Still, the
tried to do it.
traffic, like going up to the light,
Yeah.
you know, I would do it every
We were
other
trying to
one.
keep people from looking across the street as they're driving.
No, I hear you, it's the 5 o'clock,
Yeah.
you know, rush hour traffic there.
And then the only other,
It would
we
be good
did
to-
get a couple, I don't want to say complaints, but the poles for the businesses, we got adjusted as well. Some of them are, like, we do have 40 poles, we straighten out 22 banners, but a lot of them are being blocked by street signs and everything, so.
So you just adjust them? You just adjust them to where they need to be?
We already did one, I just got an email on another one, we've got to adjust it.
Okay. Very good. Okay. All right, number 8, resolution number 2022-5.1. Need a motion to accept the consent agenda to 5.7, right?
So moved.
Second.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you
That was on the,
It's the same stuff, it's just different.
just
numbers.
different numbers, okay. This one I just got off the internet, okay. Okay. Okay, it's 5.6 to 5.12. Can I have a motion, please?
We did, Ray and Dawn.
Okay.
Hang on one second. I'm
Yeah, I
sorry,
got
what was-
5.2
what
to
was the-
5.7.
What was the question?
So let me get you guys the copies. Hold
Okay.
on. My number is just wrong there, so let me get you the hard copy.
Because that's the one that I read is the one I got off the drive. See, glad it wasn't me.
It's the same information, just the number.
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Can't update it from here, so. It's the same, it's the number, 5-1, it's, we start with 5-6, because this is the second meeting, so you use those numbers at the last meeting.
Okay. That's okay.
So Bree, did you get that, Ray and Dawn?
No. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same, it's just the number.
Just the,
They're all same.
yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Is it all right if you guys just follow me? Yes,
Yeah.
I have the right one?
Yeah, yeah,
We good?
if the content's the content.
The content's not changing, just the
Yeah.
numbers are different. All right?
As long as we're good.
We're good with that?
Yeah.
Okay? All
Can I
right.
ask a question about, it was 5.7 on my screen, so this is a resolution for amending the budget cap.
You want to do that?
Dawn,
I'm sorry?
can you take a recess and I'll go print them, so they're all looking at the right,
If you want to do that, yeah, we can do that, if you want to make it.
just.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't worry about it.
Green is
Everybody
fine.
seems to be
It's
all
fine.
right.
I
Okay.
wouldn't worry about
It's
it.
the same one.
All right.
it seems
Where
okay.
Yeah.
am I looking? Where are you looking? This one?
I was just going to say, because there's a vote pending, so you'd have to withdraw. But John is saying he's got a question about G.
You got a question, just, if you have questions, just ask about the letter.
Yeah.
All right, and I'll correct the numbers as we go along, because I have the correct one.
Okay.
So you want item G,
Yes.
resolution urging New Jersey legislature, budget cap and appropriation fund. Go ahead.
Right, yes, I know I had an outstanding question on this one from just conversations I had. It was looking for the time frame. Is that I know this isn't us passing anything, this is just us urging the New Jersey legislature, but I was just curious, what are we urging them for? Is this for a temporary increase in the cap, or is it a permanent increase in the cap?
No answer to that, yeah.
No answer?
Never got an answer from that yet.
They're just looking for the support down there, and it hasn't even gone to a billion, I guess you can call it, whatever, down there. All right, this is just to show support for municipalities to do it. So I'm sure when it comes out, they'll put a time frame on it, or if it's permanent.
Yeah, we have a 2% cap, and your insurance costs can go up 12%.
Yeah. So there's
It's
no
like, well,
control.
How are we supposed to
Stick within the 2%.
make the numbers work?
Right.
right? So this, at least we're urging him to say, hey, give us some relief on that.
So essentially, a collective voice from all of the towns in New Jersey.
Right.
So all the towns are having a meeting tonight, for example. This may be on their agenda. And then the next step would be what? Communication from Bloomingdale to Trenton?
We send
Or
that
to
we're in favor of
League of
that, so
Municipalities?
we show the backing that Bloomingdale wants to follow the process to change it.
I see.
The councilman's concern is that, if they, hypothetically, say 8%, we're gonna go up. Then it's not 8% this year and forevermore. Then at some point, it goes back down to 2%.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not the whole cap, it's just for the insurance.
Yeah, just for the insurance.
Yeah.
I was just concerned that somebody could use that for something else. So 10 years down the road, somebody that's sitting up here can say, oh, well, I'm going to finagle whatever I need to do, and I'm going to raise it by this amount, almost giving them a way to do that. So that was my concern about it. I recognize that this isn't something that's gone through our state legislature. It's not even a bill right now. But that was my only concern about the future.
But I think it's just pertaining to the insurance portion of it.
Yeah.
It's not the whole,
Right,
like change the cap to 8%.
right. I gotcha.
Okay. Any other questions?
Actually, this, if it's, what I just read here on this literature, it looks like it's 3 years, John.
3 years?
The first 3 years after the effective date of this amendment for liability insurance, workers' compensation, cyber insurance, and property insurance to be exempt from the appropriation cap and the levy cap.
Got it, so it is time limit. Okay. Thank you for that.
Sure. Sorry, I just read it down.
You did a better job than me at reading it.
Okay. Any other questions for any other letter? Okay, roll call.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Gassie,
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Just as a point of question, because I think we got lost there during the numbering. Did we ever make a motion to take that vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, Ray and Donna.
All right.
Okay, pending items. Department of Public Works, if you guys don't mind, I'm going to move all these at once because we spoke about these part-time and seasonal employees that we kind of do every year. Is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, it's adoption of resolution number 2022 5.13 to 2022 5.16. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And
Any?
the promotion was due to the fact that we did get the vegetative waste contract deal with Wanacue, and we had to promote a laborer to a driver to drive that route.
Okay. Any other questions about that? Roll call.
Graziano,
Yes.
Hudson,
Yes.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Gassie,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Introduction of new business, adoption of resolution number 2022 5.17, payment of the bills. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. If there's no questions, roll call.
Hudson,
Yes, with the exception of PO 2200492.
Julian,
Yes.
Schubert,
Yes.
Gassie,
Yes.
Catalano,
Yes.
Graziano,
Yes.
Okay. All right, item B, authorization to purchase vehicles. We could also do all four of these. If we have any questions regarding any of them, we can speak to it. It's Resolution 2022 5.18 through 2022 5.21. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments?
Yeah, just discussion. This is something that I guess we have it as like a plan, like a 10-year plan to replace all our vehicles, right?
Yes.
And I know Chief goes 1-1-2, right? And this must be the year for 2.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, yeah. And the rest of them must be on the
They're on the rotation. They're actually,
rotation on the time.
the two garbage trucks is part of the vegetation waste that we plan to, that they will be paid off in 5 years instead of borrowing for 20 years, and then they would be gone. So we worked that into the numbers when we signed into, with Wanacue.
That's right, yeah.
And the other vehicles are lease vehicles. So after 3 years, Mike, or 4?
3 year or 5 year, what do we do?
What do we, what?
The lease vehicle,
The
5 years,
DPW and
right?
the fire official.
What are you talking?
Police and DPW.
Police and DPW are gonna be 5 years. The garbage trucks are gonna be 7, so after 7 years, they'll be paid off.
Okay.
And the contract for Wanacue is how many years?
5 years.
In the event the contract is not renewed, we're on the hook for how much?
60 grand.
Yeah, like 80,000 for both vehicles,
Okay, that's worst case scenario.
worst case scenario.
And the lifespan of a garbage truck is how long?
Our trucks right now, some of them are 12, 15 years old.
After you duct tape them together? 12, 15 years, okay.
Realistically, the money's there. It was better to put it over 7 years to keep it within, that way if we needed to do anything else with that money. Realistically, we could have paid it off in 5 years, but then that would have taken the 96,000 right off the bat and then wouldn't have anything left.
Yeah.
So we chose to do it over 7 years, anticipating that. we're not-
They'll re-up.
Yeah.
They'll re-
They'll re-up, right.
Or we seek another,
I mean, they're not, we're doing vegetative waste and they're already begging us right now to do sanitation and recycling, so I don't take all away vegetative.
Right, now, listen, I love the creative thinking, rather than sit back and say, you know, how do we decrease spend and all that? You guys are being proactive and going out and looking for ways to pay for capital. I think it's a smart idea.
It's not out of capital.
I'm just saying, in general, garbage truck is capital per se, right?
No, yeah, correct, normally it's capital.
Yeah, I've never bought a garbage truck, so I don't know. I'm assuming it's really expensive.
250, they were actually, they quoted us at 280,
Yeah,
and we had them change it to a different contract, the ESCNJ, and it actually dropped it like another 30,000. So we're at 250,000 per garbage truck that realistically, we needed to purchase last year. We needed to purchase another one this year because the two of them are being held together, like you said, by duct tape. And by doing the shared service with Wanacue, it paid for both.
okay.
Okay.
And what's a fire prevention vehicle? Are those the Tahoes that we see that the chiefs drive, or is that something different?
No.
It's like the police interceptor type thing, like the Explorer.
this one's a Ford Explorer, I think, when I read.
The current one is an old Durango that originally was a
Old PD
police,
Durango,
was a
right,
PD
right.
one.
Yep.
Went to fire police in the fire department,
Okay.
and then from there.
To the code official.
The fire official, because the fire official gets
Yep.
called out all hours of the night, and he covers Paquonic, Butler, Kenlon, and us. So his vehicle,
Okay, so that's
and
not
it's ready to break in half.
And-
Okay.
It's gonna be it's gonna be an admin, it's gonna be the Ford Interceptor, but the admin package, so it's about $10,000 less than the patrol vehicle.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, if there are other questions, have roll call, please.
Julian?
Yes.
Schubert?
Yes.
Yazdi?
Yes.
Catalano?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Hudson?
Yes.
Okay. Item C, introduction of ordinance number 9-2022, amending Chapter 92 zoning, sign and canopies regulations. Have a motion to read by title.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale. And this needs to be referred to the planning board, so Mayor, you can schedule the second and final reading and adoption for June 28th.
Okay. Item D, introduction of ordinance number 10-2022, amended Chapter 92 zoning, conditional uses. Have a motion to read by title.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
An ordinance of the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 92 zoning of the Code of the Borough of Bloomingdale. This is also a zoning ordinance and will go to planning board for review. Second and final and adoption can be scheduled for June 28th.
Okay. Item E, introduction of bond ordinance number 11-2022, amending bond ordinance 19-2022, Walter T. Bergen School tennis courts. Can I have a motion to read by title, please?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bond ordinance amending and supplementing bond ordinance number 19-2020, finally adopted on July 21st of 2020, as further amended and supplemented by bond ordinance number 21-2021, finally adopted on October 5th of 2021 by the Borough of Bloomingdale, County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to increase appropriation referred to in section 3A4 by $270,000 to increase the authorization of bonds or notes by $256,000 and to increase costs provided in NJSA 40A:2-20 therein.
Okay.
I'm sorry, second and final will be June 14th for this ordinance.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to leave public comment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody wishing to speak, please come up, state your name and address.
Where should I go?
Right up here. Rich, you want to move that?
Yeah, we don't have the microphone set up.
Thanks, Rich.
That's fine.
We'll hear you. We'll hear you.
Teacher voice. Good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Kieser. I live at 3 Boston Street in Bloomingdale. I come before you this evening with 2 different items. One being the blasting. There's been a lot of talk on Facebook. I'm sure you guys have seen it on Facebook pages. I'm just the kind of person that likes to be extremely informed. This is not me against the town at all. I think we all live here and we all may be concerned that the blasts feel pretty much more intense. And perhaps, some people are even seeing some damage on their property. So I just have one question. I was going over the reports, and we currently have vibrator that measure the blast in the Bloomingdale DPW yard, the Cablevision Tower, and 211 Hamburg Turnpike. I'm not sure if that's Riverdale, because when I looked at
The Cablevision Tower
Yes.
is Pompton Lakes,
Pompton Lakes,
okay?
Okay.
211 Hamburg Turnpike?
Yes.
Is that, I'm not sure where,
I'm not sure. Because
All right.
when I looked at the address up, there was a Riverdale, there was a Pompton Lakes,
Then-
and a Butler.
that, and a Butler, so I don't know where the Butler one is, because I would think the 211 Hamburg Turnpike is Riverdale, and the one, obviously, us, is the DPW, which is right next to our building in a DPW.
Okay, and I'm speaking of not the Riverdale quarry, I'm speaking of the Pompton Lakes quarry. So I'm just curious, who picks those
Bloomingdale
locations?
Quarry.
Who?
Bloomingdale Quarry, not the Pompton Lakes Quarry.
Okay,
It's in Bloomingdale.
that's what it's called though, right?
It's,
They refer to it as Pompton
Okay,
Quarry.
I was just
yeah.
reading it here, okay, understood.
But it's in the Bloomingdale property.
Yes, it's
Just-
right, it's
yeah.
across the street from me. Okay,
Okay.
so who picks those 3 locations? Do you know if it's Tilcon or if it's us?
I don't have an answer for that, because they've been there before our time,
Okay,
as far as I know. I know exactly where the one in the DPW, because we see it when we're down there. The other ones, obviously in other towns. I don't have an answer for that.
okay.
Okay.
I'm just curious if it's worth looking into, because I know obviously if it was from Tilcon, they might place them in, some softer locations versus property that's sitting right on the rock. So I think it's something to look into, because when we're looking at these measurements, obviously they are within reason, and that's not the argument, right? Like, it's within reason, but we are seeing damage being done to our homes.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple things. Well,
Sure.
first, since I saw the complaints on Facebook,
Yes.
all right, I've actually toured the quarry, all right? I've met with a couple of people from Tilcon and explained what's going on. I believe the blasting that you're feeling, and there's a meeting on the 19th that I'm going to be at,
Okay.
all right? And I confirmed that meeting with them, because the guy I spoke to knew nothing about the meeting,
Okay.
all right? But he confirmed it with their public relations people, so it is definitely happening, so I will be there. From what he told me, and he believes they're blasting in the Riverdale Quarry, because the Riverdale Quarry is going to be closing. So they have to prepare that property to bring it back to whatever the quarry is doing or done, which they have started doing that over in Riverdale. The way he kind of explained it to me, the way they shoot rock, and that's what they call it, they shoot the rock, all right? What's going on in Bloomingdale, you might feel a little bit, but when they shoot in the Riverdale Quarry, it's wide open now, and they're shooting in a different direction. And that's why we're probably feeling a little bit more rumble. I saw something on Facebook, somebody was on Black Oak Ridge Way. Well, that could be the Brain Quarry, which is on the other side of, we can't be responsible for everybody's quarry. I saw pictures on Facebook of somebody's sidewalk that I personally don't believe it was from the Tilcon Quarry because it would look like it was 30-some years old. But whatever. At the end of the day, we monitor every time we get a blast, and you probably know this. We get a call on dispatch. It's going to happen at 10:30. We get about a 10-minute lead time, Mike?
Exactly right.
Okay, and that could be between 10:30 and around noon, and I think it's Wednesdays and Thursdays when they particularly blast. The last couple, I live on Bailey Ave, I got rocked. All right, it was like, and that's, I believe everything that everybody's saying because I felt it like dearly.
Yeah.
So I think we need to see what they have to say on Thursday at their meeting. They're pretty reasonable people to deal with. They are state regulated.
I'm sorry, I'm the one who reached out not to Tilcon, I reached out to Fibertech trying to get monitoring done.
Okay. She
But
needs to-
if you're going to talk, you got to come up and give your
Okay,
name and
come up
address.
and- yeah.
I'll take you both at the same time, it's not a problem, but you just have to get on the
I was
record.
planning to speak on this today. Eva Bajaro, 67 Van Dam Ave.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just going to explain the reports to us and the blasting, which what you're doing right now. That it's not more than an informational meeting from what my conversation was with the gentleman. I don't remember his
Okay.
name.
Josh?
I think, yeah, Josh.
Okay,
So that's what
okay.
that was set up for.
Okay, but I think, just from the dealings that, and this is before I've sat anywhere up here, I've dealt with Tilcon before. There are in Bloomingdale, they're a quarry that's been here way before us, and they'll be here way after us. But they're reasonable people. If there's something being done, I'm sure when we have a conversation with them, I know they'll come out to your home. I believe they've been out to your parents' home when they lived up by Mike's house. But we are getting rocked. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
At
there's-
certain
I mean,
times,
there's
and
no
there's some
doubt
days,
about it.
the blast is less than 10 seconds, but when you feel that, it's kind of like, it wakes you up sometimes.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, are
So-
we able to, we're getting rocked, there's no doubt about it. I think about what's happening underground, right? There's things that could be moving underground, right? That could potentially, I know this is crazy to say, but with sinkholes happen, right? There's foundation that could be cracked. I'm not even saying is cracked, could be cracked, right? Sure, it could be due to settlement and whatnot, but we are being rocked. And I think it's normal for us just to be nervous. We all work our butts off for our homes.
I agree with you.
Right? We pay our mortgage, we pay our taxes, we're nervous. So I think we need not only an understanding of the blasting, but like, if there is potential damage to our homes, like, what do we do? Home insurance is only gonna cover so much. So at what point do we say, okay, this is a bit much, you're within limit, but we're being rocked, so.
Well, I think we need to see what they have to say,
Okay.
and I'm sure if you have your concerns there, like I said, I will be there, and if they don't address your concerns, I'll stand up and say what I have to say. But we need to let them speak first. I know if you have a problem, they will come out. I just know they will. But we need to let them do their thing first. If we don't get any complaints, because I had a conversation with the chief of police regarding how many times we get a phone call, complaints. The complaints are a lot less now than they ever been to our PD. That doesn't mean I want you to call every day and to the,
I don't even get to call the police to complain about it.
Well, that's-
you know,
Well, that's what
If-
Facebook is for. Haven't noticed.
well, I'll disagree with that.
Look at the room. Everybody's here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
This is just the world we live in. We go on social media to complain and then nothing gets done.
Well-
So that's why I'm here. I truly wanted I want to be a little bit more informed. I'm just not a complainer and do nothing. I like solutions. I like to know, what we're in for long term. We pay a lot of money in taxes in this town. And it's a wonderful town, and we love it here. But at the end of the day, at what point is this going to drive away real estate? Not in this market, I know that. People are just, need homes, and they're paying crazy money for homes. But at what point is it a sore for our town, And even if it's not going anywhere, at least we could say, well, this is in place, and this is what we can do to somewhat control, or this is what we have to, like, they will come and they will check your home. Just something to back us up as residents.
Well, that's why I'm going, because I've seen the complaints. I'm a different era. I'm not to go on Facebook and say, it's not me. You can email me, call me, doesn't mean I will return an email. If you have complaints, I'll do it all the time. And if I can't get the answer, that's why I have Mike. Okay, so, but we will work with you. But let's see what they have to say, and let them do their thing, and then we'll see where we go from there. But what I kind of, the understanding I have it, once they're done in Riverdale, I don't think you're gonna feel like you are, because of, they need to get done over there. Not that that's right or wrong,
Right.
okay, but we need to let them know that we're feeling it too much from that. Maybe they can make an adjustment. I don't know, I'm not a quarry guy. But let's see what they say on Thursday at 6 o'clock at 120 Broad Street.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, come on up.
As to that, 145 Rafting Road, Katarzyna Wisner. So I have a recording from my front camera of that last blasting, and I'm 145, almost next to Marta Midek, and you can clearly hear the blast. Inside the house, everything was shaking, my front steps cracked. And I can make for sure that it's from that blasting, but I didn't have that crack before. And my other concern is not even that blasting, but when I bought my house, the level of radon was high. I put a special pipe on my house. And now my concern is if the ground is shaking, is the release of that gas maybe more?
I'm not, that's,
That, you can contact my husband,
And
he's an
that-
inspector. and he
And
does
that
radon.
is causing cancer. So like if I'm going to stay, my husband works from home right now, right? He's working in a basement. If he's going to breathe this for a long period of time, if we're going to get a cancer.
well, what I suggest is if I would have somebody come check that, I would definitely, because that's, your health is more important than anything.
And I want to show you the blast, because you know what? This is getting like, you know, my husband even hear it more right now. This is my front camera. You get it. That's 145 draft. And inside, everything was shaking. So, you know, my concern is the same. I'm paying for my house, and in the long run, if my foundation crack, who's going to pay for this?
Well, that's like I said, I know in the past, Tilcom will send out a representative to an address and take a look at it, and then, now how they determine it, I don't know that. I just know it's been done in the past. I know they did it up on, when Mike was on Matthews, which is right below Knowles. So, but I said, like I said, the 19th, we have to listen to what they have to say, you know, express your complaints, and let's see what they say to us.
And I also want to ask, so I know they are going to be there for a period of time, because I think I read somewhere that in a long period of time, they're going to transform that area into housing. Is that correct? Like, they're not going to be there forever, right?
They're gonna-
They
The quarry will be there
80 years.
100 years.
It's a different space.
It's a different space.
No, but I
Well,
think her question.
It's the mirror track.
No, but her question is also, I think she's, maybe you can explain just very briefly, like, what happens when the quarry is done?
Okay, I'll give you the Riverdale side of it, because
use
that's the
Riverdale.
quarry that's going to be closing supposedly 24, 25, they're closing that down. Any quarry that closes, they have to put the quarry, I won't say back to putting trees up, but they have to make it, whether they come back and they, there's a word for it. But they kind of, what's that?
Reclamation.
Reclamation. They come in, fill all the holes, they make sure it's safe, and then whoever, like the Riverdale quarry is not owned by the quarry, they lease that property. So the owner will do whatever they're going to do with that property, whether they make it parks, housing, whatever. That's Riverdale's thing. The Bloomingdale quarry is going to be here way past our time, okay? At least another 100 years.
and I understand they're contributing nicely to our tax rate.
Oh, they're the biggest taxpayer we have. Yes, they are. Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Are we done with the call?
Yes,
I have another.
Just actually a quick question on the quarry. Do you have damage to your foundations? I know you said you had some damage to your front steps.
My foundation, but I noticed my front stairs. When I bought the house, my back patio was cracked, but it was not cracked like it's cracked right now. I don't know if this is caused because of the quarry, but I have a camera on my house, and the front camera has recorded. And as I showed.
I heard
you
it.
can hear
Yeah, I heard it from over
You
here.
can hear the blast, and I was in the kitchen at that time. Everything was shaking. Like I was thinking all my dishes going to just go.
Yeah.
My son was closing his ears, so, and I noticed my front steps is cracked right now, it's a huge crack. But like my concern is if I'm going to stay here, you know, or if I'm not going to stay here, if one day I will have to move, if my house value will be the same or will be less because of that. So that's my concern.
The reason I ask is if you don't have damage, which is a good thing, I would film your foundation and have a record of what it looks like right now. That way, in the future, if there are issues, you could have a fact-based conversation with somebody from Tilcon versus accusations, and that would be my recommendation.
And it's difficult too, you know, we have cracks in that when we bought our home 12 years ago, weren't there, right underneath like supporting beams. And like I said, my husband's a home inspector, this is what he does, he says, it could just be settlement. We can't say for sure that it's due to the quarry, you know, so it's just something that I think we all should have on our radar as residents in this town. And I think reporting it or at least taking pictures now is a good record to have for sure. I just had one more thing I wanted to bring up. Okay, so I'm on the corner of Bolston and Van Dam. This speeding on Van Dam is out of control. I spoke to our late mayor years ago regarding this issue when my kids were babies. And, you know, I proposed speed bumps, and he said, well, for snow removal, that would be an issue. But I know that there's removable speed bumps. My kids are older now. Selfishly, I'm here because I can't let them go outside without me being a wreck. They fly. They don't care that kids are outside playing. I have 5, 6 kids from the neighborhood in my front lawn, and I feel like go somewhere else. Our house isn't safe, and I hate that. I personally looked on Amazon to find, you know, kids at play signs. They're $50 a pop. If we want to line those all along Van Dam, which is a long street, that's a lot of money. I looked up for like those teardrop banners that we could put in the middle of the street on like fiberglass poles. They're $80 a pop. I don't know what we can do. I also did like the street of the week with the police. Something's got to be done because we're going to have a tragedy in this town.
Okay,
We
so
have one.
let me,
They had surgery today.
tomorrow morning, I will call the chief, and the traffic bureau will get involved. We had the same problem up on Rafkin Road by the day school, going back. There was people complaining about people traveling to the day school.
Yep.
All right, so that has stopped, because they put a car there, and that helped. So let me talk to the chief tomorrow.
Okay.
Why don't you give me your cell number, if that's okay?
Yeah, 201
Mhm.
414 6794.
And I will call you tomorrow after I speak with him.
Okay, and if you're not familiar, I'm sure you guys all are, we get a lot of crossing through because nobody wants to sit at that light on Main Street. Everybody crosses through. So it's highly, it's a lot of traffic during like commuting hours, and they just fly.
Okay. Let me see what he has to say, and then we'll go from there.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Just as I commend that as a complaint, because I know that happens, I live on Reeve, and it's a similar cut through, so I'll address it along with John and try and find a solution. So it's a scary one. I mean, I had a lady try and pass me on Reeve the other day, because I was going too slow, like literally tried to pass me.
Yeah, and we're protected by a car if they would also people that are, you know.
That's amazing. Okay. All right.
Thank you guys so much.
You'll hear from me tomorrow. Okay?
So, one more question. I live down on Van Dam,
Mhm.
in the flats.
Mhm.
My yard floods.
Mhm.
There's like 2 town properties behind me. Who maintains those? Who maintains the waterways? Who's responsible for all of that?
Which side of Van Dam are you, or Union are you?
Between Chestnut and Poplar?
Chestnut and Poplar.
Between Chestnut and Poplar, there's
Okay.
like, there's, I think 2 or 3
Mhm.
properties there.
Mhm.
There's a couple of waterways, I see some houses, they've been dredged out, they have nice concrete walls. What can be done to get that done for us? I mean,
I'm gonna,
if you give water a place to go,
the area where you're, now I know where you are. When we have flooding in the flats, there's a reason it's called the flats, okay? The creek from the main river is here. The creek that goes behind all the houses, it comes down from Henyon, past the wall with the fence, all right, which is the old Crum property, goes next to the glacier, and the way it weaves and crosses Chestnut and goes in the back, is lower than the river. So when the river is at, what's called flood stage, that water has no place to go but back. And it's the water coming down on Henyon and Union and Boston Street that goes behind there, all comes from the upper end of Knowles Road.
Right.
There's really not much we can do. We've had the county in there, and they've dredged underneath the bridge as
They
much
can
as they
only
can
do
get
certain
under.
things. They can only do certain things. They can't go on private
Right.
property, and the DEP has to get involved.
Right, and once the DEP gets involved, which we were able to go in, they call it de-snagging, but you can only work by hand. You can't bring machinery through it, you're just not allowed by DEP rules. But the unfortunate part about it is that area floods because the main river doesn't let it come out, because it's lower than where the river is. If you go down on Brant Lane, where it all winds up going in and goes into Riverdale and goes underneath there.
Right.
That's a lower portion, so no matter how much you dig, even if you went down 10 feet, it's still lower, and that water's gonna backfill all the way up. The water comes this way, and then it doesn't last long. As soon as the storms are over, it pretty much is gone, because the river recedes and the water goes. It's just, and just take off my hat here, going, I'm a fireman too, since '78, and it's been flooding way before that, but it's just the way the flats works. And we de-snag it as much as we're allowed to, and I'll give you for an example, when you go on Van Dam, up by, we used to live on Walnut Street, that is, we have drainage in there, but it's flat, because you can't get the pitch, all right? Walnut's the last street up before you come out. The pitch from there, going down to where you are, is pretty much level. So that's why that area floods all the time, because there's nowhere for the water to go. It doesn't flow until the rain stops and it recedes, and then it has a chance to go out slowly. So that's why you'll see cones out all over the place in the lower end of town, in certain areas, because there's really not much we can do. We've done some, as much as we're allowed to.
Just wondering if there is that marked creek that goes through those properties and comes.
It crosses under
through,
Van Dam.
My neighbor's property, and then it hits the creek that runs through our yard.
Yeah,
And
and
if that.
And the other thing, it does this, and then it comes back, and then it goes, it's not like a
There's
straight.
Yeah, there's a few, but the way it's drawn,
Yeah.
and it's just a mosquito
Mhm.
nightmare. I personally cannot sit outside from now until September.
Now, we do have, Passaic County does have a mosquito commission, and
They have not come, the
I-
first time they
I'm-
came, they told me they couldn't do anything, it wasn't in the budget this year, that was last year.
that might be something that.
I'll make a phone call with that, but they also are regulated by the
The mayor may be
DEP.
able to call, because we used to be, on Walnut Street, we used to be the access for the wetlands behind, like that little
Oh, on the
wooded
other side.
area that was behind my house on Walnut Street. We used to be the access for the mosquito commission, and that's how we ended up meeting them. But that might be something we could look into as well.
If it's something-
Give me your cell number.
973 454 3496
3496. And your address again?
67. Van Dam.
Van Dam, okay. Okay. We will make a phone call to the county, and as soon as they get back to me, I will let you know what they say.
How much are we allowed to do by hand of cleaning?
I don't have an, Frank, would you know? Because
You can pretty much take sticks and
yeah.
whatever you can grab by hand.
Whoever's dead laying there, you
Yeah.
can pull
You
out.
can't take anything else.
And I'll give you an example. We did some de-snagging on our own up at, this is going back, up on Oakwood Lake, all right, where the dock goes out up there. I don't know if you've been up there. Well, down from that past the park, they had the big heavy straw going there. So we went in and just tried to clean it out so it looks presentable. We got in so much trouble for touching the waterway. So they're really, really strict. And I can, just for an example, I know Ponton Lakes does a flooding project that they have over there in the rivers. They have a guy that goes in with machines, and they have to have the turtle people come from Pennsylvania, silt fence the whole river, so his machines can only touch a little bit, and it's only in certain areas. Excuse me. And they come out and watch them, but they have to check for turtles and frogs, and certain times of year, they just can't even go near the river. They get in trouble, and they've gotten in a lot of trouble recently, from what I understand.
That's why part
So
of
it's very
what took so
difficult.
long with Sloan Park.
Yeah.
Was DEP. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily
No,
us.
right, yeah, of
Yeah, but
course.
a lot of people don't realize the
Yeah.
DEP just
They
regulates so
regulate
much
it,
when
and there's-
anything over water, in the water.
Yeah. So we'll do what we can, but I can't promise you, because we're regulated just like everybody else. Okay?
Okay.
All right?
Thank you.
But you'll hear from me.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Rich Heller, 159 Pine Tree Road. Two things to follow up on theirs. If Tilcon could give us some sort of formal process for people like that who think their house may have been damaged, we can put that on the Tilcon section of the website. I mean, we have a whole bunch of stuff about Tilcon on there. You know, that way we'd at least have something that people can refer to easily.
Okay.
So, the second thing, just a quick question, because I am a District 5 person. Is this taking effect immediately?
Yes.
It will be for the
You
Friday.
should be getting a postcard, and it'll be that going forward.
Okay, well, I was gonna like send out email to people who don't pay a lot, you know. So I just wanted to make sure, when I tell them, it's like, okay, the next time you vote, you know, make sure it's now, not November. Okay, thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Hey, Rich, before you go, is there like a sign up that people can sign up and get the warnings that there's gonna be a blast?
I don't know. I mean, all I know for us is the Swift Reach, the reverse 911.
Yeah,
I don't
but-
know if
But we
Tilcon
don't
does
have
any-
that in the Swift Reach.
I know at
No,
work,
no.
there is a quarry right across the street from me. I'm on the fifth
No,
floor.
yeah,
You
I
know,
know you
Hey,
talked
Rob.
about that.
I
Yeah.
thought,
And we always get an email.
I thought that you could get on a list, that you contacted Tilcon, and I could swear we talked about this like 10
Right.
years ago,
Right,
that you
and I
could
think
actually
we
get on a
remember that too,
list.
but
and
Again,
it's
that's
an
not
email
something
list.
we maintain.
But that's a question we can ask
I
on
mean,
Thursday.
they're gonna send you a
Thursday.
note, but, you know, you can't do anything from the shake, right? You can't control that, but at least you know it's coming.
But if you're not they only notify us when there's blasting in Bloomingdale. They don't tell us when it's in Riverdale.
Yeah, but if they just have you know, like the Swift Reach thing, if they just have an automated system, they might not care where you are.
Okay.
They
Yeah.
might send it out.
Yeah.
So we'll ask that on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else wishing to come up? We've covered everybody, I think. All right. Seeing no one, a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we do have one matter of negotiations in executive session tonight, but there will be no action taken afterwards. Our next scheduled meeting is June 14th, and another reminder, Memorial Day, May 30th, and the election, June 7th. Have a motion to go into exec.
So moved. Second.
Second.
All in
You
favor?
want both?